Well, it has been exactly over a year. And we have a bit of a different video I want to do today. I've got the place to myself for a little while, so I figure let's do something a little dumb. I have here with me a Maverick 88 12 gauge pump action shotgun. And we're going to disassemble it. Why? Because it's probably important we learn how to maintain our firearms. I'll get into that. There'll be an update video coming out soon explaining what I just said. So, we're going to take this apart. I don't exactly have the greatest working room here, but we're going to just quickly make sure this is unloaded. So, I do, for all intents and purposes, have a blank in there, just an empty shell. But, empty. She's empty. So, to start taking it apart, keep your action down. Now, I cranked these on a little too tight, so I gotta use pliers to undo mine. But then, remove your barrel. That's out of the way. This becomes a little bit easier to work on. So you'll see, there's a pin right there. Grab a punch. Just very carefully. Make sure you grab that. There's your pin. And just kind of gently bring your action forward a bit. And there is your trigger and hammer assembly. That's everything pretty well right there. I think I said hammer assembly. That's probably what's in there. I don't claim to be a gunsmith. I don't know what I'm doing, except I do, just now. But, one YouTube tutorial later, and I've kind of got it figured out. So now, there's what we're left with. And as you just probably seen, you've got one of these is your stopper. There's your shell stopper, and then your interceptor is on the opposite side. You want to go ahead and take them little things out. Now, just like that. Next, move your bolt so it kind of aligns itself right there. And as you just seen, that's going to come out. And that's going to sit up atop of there. So that's out. And then, pretty much, you can take your fore end off. Next, you still have the bolt and the catch here. So your catch, you just want to very gently down here, pinch, kind of wiggle it a little, move the bolt out of the way as needed, and there it is. Then, last is your bolt. There's the whole kit caboodle, and because I'm Canadian, mine has a wooden dowel plug in it because apparently Maverick's a little too cheap to make sturdy plugs, so we have a wooden dowel in mine. And there you go. There is your Remington 870, you moron. Your Maverick 88 gutted, but we're going to go a step further. We're going to take the buttstock off with it. Just for educational purposes, I suppose. So take a star screwdriver, and these screws are friggin' tough, I'm not gonna lie. And I've already got grease all over my hands because I watched a YouTube tutorial how to do this, and then I watched one video how to do it, and then immediately thought, oh, I can do that, so now let me do it. And putting it back together is going to be your harder part. You're just doing everything backwards, but because I'm a little slow, it's not going to be as fun. So there's one screw. Thankfully, the pad comes off separate. Can't really see what I'm doing. You're not missing much. There's just two holes here. Stick a screwdriver in there and back it out. friggin' tough though. Oh, frick. Okay. And there's screw number 2. So now, on your butt pad, it's just going to come out like that. Now, back deep in there, it's a little hard to see because my lighting is atrocious, but there's a little bolt back there. So I'm going to run and grab a tool to get that out with. Excuse me. Alright, we're back? We're back. So I just have this 1/2-inch socket with an extension bar on it. We're going to just barely stick that in there. So I'm going to try and hold it here. Get on there, you fool. Okay, that's tightening it. Is this what you... There goes the stock. Okay, so there is your butt stock, and there's what was holding it in. And last, you have basically a club now. You could probably beat someone with this. I don't recommend you do that, but it's relatively solid. So now I've completely destroyed my gun, more or less. But now we're going to put it back together. Whoopee! So, taking my stock, the butt stock, I guess, and I'm going to have to position this. It's not hard. It's just getting it to sit in one spot. Taking that bolt. Come on. I guess it helps if it's in the right spot. There, and just like that, you're going to see that bolt come out that side. Now, it does, at least this one, have a flat head on it. So I can do that to get it started. And then, when that outlives its usefulness, swap back to the old socket. There, your stock's back on. Now your butt plate. Just kind of, it's going to fight with you a little bit. Don't pay it too much mind. There. Once that's on there, 2 screws. Friggin' hands keep slipping. Now, my main purpose of doing this video is I want to put a saddle mount on this. So, it's also just kind of something I could very quickly look back on and judge myself for later that I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Per usual. It's very rare that I know what I'm doing until I do. And then I know what I'm doing. There. Now that I've completely distracted myself with that, we're going to reassemble this. Now I find you take your bolt first. That in there and get that about there, I'd say. You want it pretty much right where we had it prior. You take your arms. You got to move the bolt again as needed. And put that arm back into place. Put your bolt forward, lay that down. So that's, you're going to want to have your bolt sitting there, and that arm's going to go and be laying down. Next, you're going to want that in there. Now this could be a bit of a pain to get back in there sometimes. You kind of have to finagle it a little. So with a little bit of wiggling, you can slide that in there. And that'll hold that there. Next, this little guy. So just kind of drop them in and push your bolt ahead just a tad. You don't want to overdo it too much. You want, there's a groove in the top, so that'll go into about there, as you can see. I'm getting all of this lined up. Cooperate, you. There. That's what it should look like. It should look just about seamless in there. Now you can slide your action forward. It just locked into place. Now don't be too comfortable with it there, because it'll have to come back again, but for the sake, back forward, you. Just to keep it out of the way for the next couple seconds. Next up, we're going to get our arms back in there. So you can see that they're a little different from each other. Your interceptor goes on this side of the bolt. Yeah. So your interceptor has a larger knob and the stop does not. At least I think it's called a stop. That's just what I'm calling it. So that should just kind of sit up and along there. And if I'm lucky, it'll stay right friggin' there. I'm going to back my bolt off a little. Uh-oh, I done messed that up. Did I? I did. Yeah, okay. So what I like to do is I will bring now, I don't even know what you would call that. I guess that's your breech. It would bring the breech up to hold these arms in place. You kind of, in this stopper there, this goes on the opposite side. And just kind of snugs right in there. I'm going to try and bring that arm up if I can. It's not letting me. Oh, it's okay. Don't need it up anyway. Alright. Last thing you're going to want to do is your trigger assembly. So very carefully bringing the bolt forward. I got to hold kind of everything in place here. That's got to come up. Just kind of shimmy it forward a little. And this, if done correctly, should go together. I'm going to take these arms out for a second and see if I can move that forward, because it's not wanting to budge very much. There. See, now, you can probably see that coming up when I bring the bolt back. We want that. That's good. Very nice. So we're going to bring our bolt forward. We're going to put the arms back in. You don't have to take the arms out. I just kind of messed that up a little. Well, they'll go in the same way. Your trigger. Back in there, boy. These little things. These stupid little arms. The Maverick 88 isn't exactly a well-built shotgun, per se. Get back in there. Okay, these are giving me a harder trouble than it did the first time. Just a little problematic. Bring the bolt back. breech up. We'll try this again. Now you can kind of see how that just kind of sits there. Just kind of. That should just kind of wiggle in there. Yep, there we go. So just take your thumb on the back and push it in. And when that's all said and done, take the pin. I said take the pin. There. Take the pin, slide that in. And just kind of give her a few. Make sure everything's in place. Now, I gotta put that friggin' dowel back in there. That's my plug. And then your barrel. Now, do I have a cut shell kicking around? I do. I'm a little thick in the head. Sometimes I'll cut some shells. That's empty. It's got a wad in there, but there's no powder. And these I'll just kind of... So, I'll go ahead and put that in there. And there you go. You have successfully completely destroyed your Maverick 88 and, well, I guess disassembled to be the proper word. You've completely disassembled your Maverick 88 and put it back together again. I'm going to keep that open. Keep that open if you're ever going to do this, by the way. This is not safe at all. But that's that. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Glad to be back. It's been too long. Yeah, more videos coming soon. Much, much more. I've got plenty in the works coming. And by that, I mean I've got some great ideas, and we'll see if I can even execute any of them. Anyway, that's all. Thanks.